Press the bell icon to never miss an update from placement interviews.
Hi, this is Agrima Singh. I'm currently studying at Delhi Technological University in my 4th year, and I'm a student of civil engineering. I'm placed at Deloitte, India, which is at Gurgaon, and my profile is that of a technology consultant.
Tell us about the placement procedure.
Deloitte came to our college for placements, and the profile that I appeared for, which was technology consultant, had basically 4 rounds. The first round was the written round, which was basically an online test with aptitude questions on English, verbal and quantitative aptitude. They were pretty much, it was a computer adaptive test, and all the questions had to be answered successively, and all the questions were compulsory. After the written test, around 60 kids were shortlisted for the second round, which was the group discussion, case study and the personal interview round. For my profile, which was that of a technology consultant, the group discussion round was the first round, where a case was given to us. The case revolved around a company, rather an issue with a company which was undergoing a problem with the data redundancy, and we as a consulting firm had to look for solutions. So there were a couple of questions given at the back, and we basically had to arrive at solutions for those questions. The second round was that of, the round after the case study round, was that of an extempore, where topics were given to us. We were given 30 seconds to prepare and then 1 minute to speak on. The topics were mostly general. Some of them were specified, and we also had one choice to change the topic if we were not comfortable. So my topic was on ways of learning and how it has made an impact in today's day and age. The final round was the interview round. Now each successive round that I'm naming was a knockout round, and the final interview round had basically a personal face-to-face interview with one of the employees of the company, and the interview revolved around our resume, mostly around our resume and what we'd done in our internships and so on and so forth. Extracurriculars did play a major role in my interview. My interview also revolved around a couple of coding questions, even though it was not mentioned in my resume. But that was mainly because they asked me if I was comfortable with that topic, and I said that I had done it back in school. And so this was a question that caught me a little off guard. But apart from that, the interview was mostly very predictable, mostly to do with our with what we'd done in our course, and even in our and mostly our internships. Internships had to be done really well because they asked several questions on what we'd done, why that internship work was required at all, and a couple of questions about the company we'd done it in.
What was your preparation strategy?
Talking about my preparation strategy for Deloitte, I'll start with the successive rounds. The first round was the written round, and for that I think basic aptitude questions on verbal and quantitative would be sufficient to ace that exam. Personally, I refer to Arun Sharma for quantitative and verbal both. For the second round, which was my case study round, there's a book called Case in Point, I think, which is a very popular book. I made sure that I read those questions once, and at least I knew the format of how a case could be approached. So for instance, on my actual day of the interview, my case was very different from what I had gone through for practice, and it caught me a little off guard, but at least I ensured that I knew the format and how to go about it. So I knew the flow of the arguments, and I stuck to that, and I think that really helped. Finally, the round after that was extempore round. Now personally, for us, what had happened on the day of the Deloitte interview was that in the morning we were told about the rounds. So we didn't know about the specific rounds beforehand, and therefore I did not know that an extempore round would be held at all. So I did not really specifically prepare anything for the extempore. However, what I felt that they wanted through that extempore, what they were expecting through that extempore round was maybe our confidence of speaking out in public, and basically how we approach any topic and how we let our flow of thoughts come out. Finally, for the interview, my strategy was very simple. The resume that I had made, I made sure that I knew every part of it very well. So any question could be asked from the resume, and that is in fact very predictable because the first thing that they target is your resume. So all the internships that I had done, all the projects that I had mentioned, in fact even stuff related to my own branch, my branch was civil engineering, and even though it was very irrelevant to the profile that I had applied for at Deloitte, they still asked me questions based on it. Basics, of course, but they still did. So I had ensured that, at least stuff related to my internships was something I knew. And apart from that, they asked me a lot about my extracurricular activities too, the fests I had organized or I was involved in. Some of my extracurricular activities, my hobbies, like dance, they asked me related to my, I was a professionally trained classical dancer, it was mentioned in my resume. So they asked me the people who were, the famous dancers who were involved in that dance, the founders of those dance, the people who had originated it. So, those were a little, those were questions, some of which I was tending to forget, but I told them the amount I knew and I remembered. So these were the questions I would personally suggest be prepared on. If there's any sport or anything that you're involved in, make sure that you know stuff about the sport. So, they don't think that you're taking it very lightly or it's just something that you've mentioned simply in your resume. So I think this was pretty much my preparation strategy for the successive rounds.
Any tips and tricks that you'd like to share?
The tips and tricks, I would say advice from seniors and guidance from them is paramount because they have gone through a similar phase before you and they know exactly what problems arise. So I would suggest catch hold of some good seniors and make sure you know about the companies they have been placed in, or even otherwise if they've appeared for them. So get hold of your seniors and make sure you ask them questions about how it is, and so you get to know what happens on the day of the interview rounds and the other previous rounds. The second thing I would say is be honest in the interview because if you're going on a if you're going in a way that that they might just understand that you're taking something very lightly, or you're not fully confident of what you're speaking. They understand that, and I think it'll just then get more difficult for you from that point on. So be honest in the interview, tell them what you've done, be confident of what you have done, and before the day of the interview, I would say the projects and the internships that you do previously, do good work in them, like know what you're doing, irrespective of the profile you want to apply for in the future. So don't be underconfident that it might not match with your profile. Whatever you're doing, just do well because that is what they want to know. They all they want to know is that you've done good work in the past and you're confident of what you've done and you have faith in yourself.
So that's it for this video. I hope you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel, and also let us know if you like these videos and if you want to watch more of them, and suggest us topics in the comment section below. And also I'll be linking all the social media handles in the description. You can go there, follow us there, drop a text if you want to be interviewed, or if you know somebody who can be interviewed and would help others. So that's all for today. We'll see you next time.